Hey there, I'm Mags, also known as the Marketer Whisperer. If you've ever felt the doubts and pressures of leadership starting to sap your confidence and passion for this amazing job, then this podcast is for you. As a former marketer myself, I've lived through the chaos of consumer brands for over 16 years, so I do get what you're going through. And that's enough to leave any smart and driven marketer feeling like a burnt out version of their former self. But it doesn't have to be this way. So on this show, I'll be sharing pragmatic tips and also real stories to help you feeling confident, creative, and passionate about marketing leadership again. Right, today it's all about mental clutter or mental overload that marketing leaders have. So you're a marketing leader and you're probably no stranger to dealing with multiple priorities, let alone a large spectrum of competing demands from sales, from finance, supply chain, demand planning, the agencies, the consumers, category, shopper marketing, and so on and so forth. So it often feels like there's never enough time, actually, or headspace for that matter, to accomplish everything you need to do, right? So on top of managing campaigns, on top of overseeing your agency's creative work, going through the market research, findings, analyzing ROI metrics, reporting on ROI. You've got meetings to lead, budgets to approve, a brand planning process to lead, and even perhaps to create, because I hope you have one, a team to inspire and motivate. So there's so many balls in the air. It's not really surprising at all that some of your mental clutter starts to form and actually set in. So, and the thing is, mental clutter or mental overload, doesn't discriminate. Oh, no. It's not something that only junior marketeers, deal with because of their lack of experience, the fact that they've only just started and they have so much to learn. No. Even the most seasoned marketing leaders fall victim to this effect, right? So what does it sound like? And it basically, you've got a mental overload, like mental clutter in your head when you've got a constant flow and swell. So it's just not stuff coming because it could go or just stay put. No, it comes in and swirl around. So a constant flow and swell of intrusive thoughts and doubts. Stuff like, I'm not ready for this role. What did I say that in the meeting? This sounds so stupid. I'll never get ahead of these deadlines. My team deserves a much better leader. I don't know what I'm doing. So before long, this incessant background noise begins to impact your productivity. It starts to sap motivation and erode your self-confidence. So in your day-to-day, it makes it really difficult to think strategically and also long-term. You'll probably have your nose stuck in the short term, but you've got to think strategically and long term because that's what you were hired for in the first place, right? You find it harder to communicate clearly and decisively. You find it really difficult to make a decision because your head is spinning. There's so much information and to-dos in your head. You find it hard to delegate tasks in an effective manner. You probably have to learn how to manage stress and burnout at some point or another, and overcome your self-doubt and the imposter syndrome thoughts. And it's really difficult then to develop trust and super strong team dynamics when there's so much noise in your head. The impact is both professional and personal. And it can be quite devastating, in fact, because you cannot switch off when there's so much clutter. And usually the answer, you have the answers inside of you. You are able to know what to do and to make the right decisions, but you're so blinded by all that mess that is in your head, you don't even know where to start, and you start to kind of giving up. It puts a serious brake on your creativity and innovation, because it makes you second guess. You have instincts and you have experience that you use in your day-to-day. This mental clutter challenges everything you're thinking of. It makes you hesitate when kind of bold decisions have to be made. and sorry, I've got a cat in my throat, and your leadership presence and confidence gets totally disturbed by this overthinking that you display. And the thing is, if you're leading a team, your team takes cues from the people that are leading them from the top. So if you are, as a marketing leader, gripped by mental clutter, that same lack of focus, direction, and clarity, sometimes even, trickles downward, for sure. So your team will start to see the rapport being strained, the accountability is going to suffer, and potentially, actually what I see most of the time is that the marketing function starts to underperform as a result. It's too much for you to take on. Not that you're unable, it's just there's not enough structure, simplification, boundaries, priorities in your head. There's a lot of self-talk and criticisms, self-doubting happening, and therefore everything gets mixed up and merging as a big messy, pile of stress in your head. So no wonder how can you be expected to actually lead a team and give them direction, simplicity of prioritization when you don't even know yourself? And on a personal level, because yes, I don't really think people can really separate work from home totally, simply because your body doesn't. So you might label stuff, this is a stress from work, this is some kind of stress from a personal life, but your body doesn't know any difference. Your body just welcomes or has to deal with anything that comes its way. So the mental clutter contributes to burnout, anxiety, deprived sleep. It can strain your relationship, and can also impact your work-life balance or lack thereof. So recognizing your mental clutter or overload, however you prefer to name it, as the kind of tricky force it is one key step, because from there it becomes possible to take proactive measures to tackle it, to overcome it, like practicing mindfulness and being present as opposed to overthinking, being too worried about might happen in the future, in the upcoming meetings, or worry, or kind of going over all the things that you wish you had done better, your team had done better in the past. So when someone, a good coach actually a couple of years ago said, when you have a foot in the past and a foot in the future, what happens is that you piss on the present. That was very elegant to say, but that image just stuck in my head, and I thought it was really good. When you're worrying too much about what may happen in the future, right? So kind of the pessimist side of your mind. And when you go over things from the past because you regret, you wish it was different, what you're forgetting is the present. And I'm not saying, it's some of you might not be into mindfulness that much, but there's a lot of truth in that you've got to kind of recenter, or for lack of a better word. When you're aware of your mental clutter, you can then establish firm boundaries between work and personal life. Because again, everything gets mashed up and mixed up. It's really important to find your ways to try to set up a few rules in order for one or the other to not invade the other life that much. You can learn how to improve time management and how to delegate. That's a skill you can learn. I know some people find it very hard to kind of lose control and find it very difficult to just oversee as opposed to getting involved for many reasons. It could be the lack of control, could be the fact that you love doing this kind of creative stuff, but your job now is different. You're more at a strategic level and you find it hard to let go. Anyway, there's a reason why you find it hard to delegate, and it's really important to understand what that is. The other thing you can do is that it becomes possible to implement productivity tools and strategies so that you don't waste time spending too much time in the past or worrying about the future, the things that may happen in the next, board meeting, the leadership team kind of quizzing you on the performance or lack of, or even the brand planning and all the stuff that's going to happen in the near future. You can leverage a leadership coach. Hello, I'm here. Does not have to be me, of course, but hey, to overcome confidence issues. Sometimes often I would say, an external pair of eyes that's not biased by your company's objectives and goals and stuff is going to help you a lot. And there's a lot of help and support that exists. You can also, once you recognize there's really a mental overload you need to deal with, make mental health one of your top priority, right? So what does that mean for you? What are the actions, the things you can put in place in order to not go from it's really bad right now, 1 out of 10 to a 10, but if you are at 1 out of 10 right now, how do you go from 1 to 2 out of 10? What does that look like? What does 2 look like? And what can you do? Like, what are the, 2 steps you can do in order to reach that number 2? And once you do that, you go to 3, and so on and so forth. And marketing, I know that because I was one for over 16 years, is a fast-paced, sometimes really high-pressure arena. And it doesn't have to be, the fast-moving consumer goods industry. It's not about the product, the fast-paced kind of speed that I'm talking about. It's because it's about the level of investment you put yourself through to bring your brands and your plan to life. So even in slower industries, I've worked for the glue industry, the adhesive industry, for example. We didn't launch NPDs every year from start to finish. The pace at which you deal with stakeholders, the level of pressure you feel, there's no getting around the hectic nature of it all. It is there. You have to talk to so many people as a marketer. It's one of those unique jobs and positions I find that is so versatile, but you also have to deal with a variety of personalities, of different objectives that they have to deal with, and let alone the mood they're in that day. The level of adaptation of a marketer has to be really high, and that's really hard. It takes a lot of energy in order to adapt to people's moods and objectives and challenges and the conversations of it all. But therefore, it makes it absolutely crucial for a marketing leader to get a handle on their mental clutter or overload before it puts a spanner in their career trajectory, in their love for the job that they used to have but has gone, and the success and the performance of their own team as well. So I will finish this short podcast to say, don't allow mental clutter to boss you around. You can take control over it. You can take control back and prioritize what matters most, which is a mindset of, focus and clarity, because that will also have some ripple effects on the people around you, be it your team, be it your family and friends, the personal circles that are really important. So let me know what you thought of this podcast in the comments, and if you need any help, you can always book a 30-minute free call with me, or just send me a message with your current struggles when it comes to the mental overload, and I'd be happy to have a chat with you. Thank you for joining me on another insightful episode of The Marketing Whisperer. If you found value in this episode, I'd be so grateful if you could leave a rating and a review on the podcast app of your choice. It really would help me reach more marketing leaders like you who could benefit from these insights in return. And I'd love if you would join upon my community of marketing leaders. All details are available on my website, startingblockscoaching.com. And lastly, if you're seeking one-to-one coaching, group workshops maybe for your team, leadership training, marketing expertise or career advice, basically everything that makes you a better marketing leader, feel free to get in touch with me on LinkedIn. Search for Magali Leroux. I don't know how else to pronounce it to make it easier. Speak soon.